स्वादयन्निह सर्वेषाम् त्रय्यन्तार्थम् सुदुर्ग्रहम् स्तोत्रयामास योगीन्द्रः तम् वन्दे यामुनाह्वयम् नमो नमो यामुनाय यामुनाय नमो नमः नमो नमो यामुनाय यामुनाय नमो नमः यत्पदाम्भोरुहध्यान विध्वस्ताशेषकल्मषः वस्तुतामुपयातोऽहम् यामुनेयम् नमामि तम् स्वधर्मज्ञानवैराग्य साध्यभक्त्येकगोचरः नारायणः परम् ब्रह्म गीताशास्त्रे समीरितः श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्ताम् सदा हृदि.
Before going to Gitartha Sangraha, I want to just tell you that Gitartha Sangraha Raksha has got some tanyan, which I will of course communicate to you tomorrow, before tomorrow's session. Let me recite, but I will tell you the meanings as well as the text little later. From Manatvam Bhagavan Matasya Magatah Punsas Tatha Nirnayaha Tisras Siddhayaha Atma Sammit Akhila Adhishana Tattvashrayaha Gitarthasya cha Sangraha Stuti Yugam Shri Shishayorityamūn Yad Granthan Anusandadhe Yatipatis Tam Yamuneyam Numaha. Now this particular verse gives us the list of the works of Sri Yamunacharya, and one more. Srimad Venkatanathena Yatha Bhashyam Vidhiyate Bhagavad Yamune Yokta Gita Sangraha Rakshanam. This is one of the tanyans before Sri Gitartha Sangraha Raksha. Again, Mahabharata, in Mahabharata, there is one verse about Lord Sriman Narayana. Tattvam jignasamananam hetubhis sarvatomukaihi tattvam eko mahayogi harir narayana paraha. Again, the other one which I am just saying now is known to everyone, called Alodya Sarva Shastrani. Okay. Vicharya cha punah punah idamekam sunishpannam dheyo narayana sada. So this is the introduction in just 2 lines. So these are the verses to be recited every day also in future sessions. And then Ityadibihi Tattvahita Rupam Samasta Adhyatma Shastrarthasaram Maharshayaha Sanjagruhu Tat Etat Ubhayam Sarvopanishad Sara Sankalanatvikayam Bhagavad Gitayam Pratipadyataya Pradarshayan Tatrapi Upanishadam Tattva Pradhanyasya Charirake Sutra Tattvat Iha Api Tat Pradhanataya Vyapadishati. So this is the prose. Yeah. Very good, very good. That's what I mean. That's what just I read now. Very nice. Up to this Vyapadishati. So this paragraph now shown by kindly by Keshavdas Swami, page 3. So we are talking about the Bhagavad Gita and the abridged essence of Bhagavad Gita. The abridged essence of Bhagavad Gita gives us the essence of Upanishad. So the essence of Upanishad is given by the aphorisms of Veda Vyasa called Brahma Sutram. Therefore, that is that. So that is what this paragraph says. Now, again, of course, you have shown exactly the text. Swadharmaha, Swadharmaha, Swavarnashrama, Niyata, and so on. Shastra, Arthaha, Sve Sve Karmani Abhiratas, Samsiddhim, Labate Naraha. Gita, Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, 45th verse, Iti Giyate, Swasya Dharmaha iti, Samase api, Ayameva Arthaha. So this is the first introduction to Gitartha Sangraha Raksha. So let us also recite these in page 2 and page 1 we have a few verses that we will take it up from tomorrow. Sankhya Buddhya Avadharaniyam Atma Tattvam Sankhya. So we saw the word Sankhya-dihi. Sankhya-dihi. We are going to see in detail what Sankhya is, what Sankhya Darshana is, what is Sankhya, as it is called Vedanta. So Sankhya Buddhya, with the intellect, with the type of Sankhya, Avadharaniyam, it should be understood. So what should be understood? Atma Tattvam. Atma Tattvam, again, the highest principle, namely Paramatma Tattvam. That Paramatma Tattvam is again the difference between the knowledge of the difference between the individual soul and the Supreme Soul, and how the Supreme Soul is great and how the individual soul is small, and as it is a creation, though it has no death, Lord Tirunarayana resides within the individual soul. Of course, in all the creations also, all other creations also. Tad Vishaya Buddhihi Sankhya-dihi. That kind of intellect, the intellect related to Sankhya is called Sankhya-dihi. Again, Nitya Atma Gochara Dihi. The word Dihi, as I said to you earlier, that it is in feminine gender and therefore the word is Gochara. So Nityatma Gochara iti Tad Vivaranam. Tad Vivaranam, its elaboration is Nitya Atma Gochara. So we also discussed how Nityatma Sangha was, or Nityatma Sangha, the first part of the verse, Nityatma Sangha. We had different interpretations, different splitting. Here also, Jivatma, the individual soul, is near the or nearer the Supreme Soul, or the Supreme Soul is easily accessible to the individual soul forever, because the Supreme Soul resides in the individual soul as the inner soul permanently, forever. Therefore, it's also Nityatma Gochara. So that's what Sankhya-dihi. So the Sankhya philosophy, now in Arjuna's mind, also feels that physically Lord Sri Krishna is near him, and therefore he feels that the individual soul is always near the Supreme Soul, or there is lot of proximity between the individual soul and the Supreme Soul, and also the great quality of the great auspicious quality of the Supreme Soul is accessibility, Saulabhyam. That Saulabhyam is being now experienced by Arjuna practically. And Evam, in this way, Atra here, so Asanga Karma Hadi Shabdena. Already we saw, I think in few places, the same word Iha. Iha means here. So Adi, etc. and other words, shabdena. So by the words, what type of words? Asanga karma. So we also saw that nitya atma sanga karma. So here meaning in this world, in this mortal world, in this created world. So asanga karma, detachment towards the karma, detachment towards the action. So asanga karma, doing action but without attachment. So asanga karma. Iha adi shabdena yoga shabdartha vivaranat. Since the word yoga has been used earlier, for example, with reference to karma yoga, jnana yoga, and bhakti yoga, because yoga nishthe, the word yoga nishthe occurred earlier. So instead of yoga, he is now using asanga karma. Asanga karma is yoga. What is asanga karma? Action being performed without attachment. Or you can say the action performed with detachment. So yoga shabdartha vivaranat. Since this asanga karma will explain what is yoga, so now it is not repeated. Apaunarutyam. Paunarutyam is repetition. Apaunarutyam is no repetition. Meaning, in a poem, generally, no poet should repeat his expression with the same meaning. That's the repetition should not be with the same meaning. It can be a repetition with a different meaning, but the same meaning should not be repeated. That is the skill of a poet. Otherwise, the poet will be considered a lesser poet. He is not without. He is not. He is not able to compose poems properly. That's the rule. So it's called a defect. Punarukti dosha is a defect. Repetition is a defect. In some cases of Shabdalankara, namely the beauty based on sound, there will be always a repetition. But the beauty based on meaning will have no repetition except in cases where the meaning of the words are different. It can be double meaning, or it can be by the splitting of the compound in different ways, the different meanings are obtained. Therefore, the Paunarutyam is here is Apaunarutyam. The Gitartha Sangraha of Sri Yamunacharya, we don't find any repetition of the word. For example, yoga is not repeated here. Otherwise, asanga karma is given instead of yoga. Again, yoga, karma yoga is equal to asanga karma. So yoga itself, the very two syllables, yoga, will mean that the individual soul joins the Supreme Soul. Yoga meaning joining. Yugmam is two. So two things joining, two objects joining. So here is the individual soul and the Supreme Soul. That's what we say as reaching the moksha, reaching the Vaikuntham and so on. Getting near the God, going near the Almighty. And therefore yoga also means, as we know, meditation, discipline. So the discipline of the mind, to concentrate on the Supreme Soul and so on. So yoga shabdartha vivaranat. So by explaining the meaning of the word yoga, there is no repetition because it is used as asanga karma either. Now again, Arjuna, King Arjuna is advised by Lord Krishna to have Chitadihi. In the whole of the second chapter, we find the definitions of Chita Prajnaha. A man of firm intellect. You can also say a man of firm intelligence. And again, a man of firm consciousness. Again, a man of firm conscience, you also say. So he must have the conscience to have consciousness. So Sthita Dihi, already he has Sankhya Dihi. His intellect is now deluded by, confused by the philosophy called Sankhya. And then he has not understood so far Upanishad meaning. That's the meaning of Sankhya Dihi. That means he has to improve his knowledge, wisdom with regard to Upanishads. Upanishad is Bhagavad Gita. And you will know that at the end of every chapter, we say Bhagavad Gita Su, Upanishadsu, Brahma Vidyayam, Yoga Shastre. And then the name of the chapter is also Krishnarjuna Samvade, Sri Krishnarjuna Samvade, dash dash yogo nama adhyayaha. And that will be the ending passion of every chapter in Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, Chidadihi, Sthita Prajnata. Chidadihi also can mean a person with firm intellect, or simply intellect which is unwavering, which is still, which is firm, which doesn't move out. So again, Vedanta Deshika gives it a meaning. Jnana Nishtha ityartha. So we just saw Asanga Karma first. Karma Yoga is the first step. Second is Jnana Yoga. The Jnana Yoga involves what we call the firm intellect. So Jnana Nishtha ityartha. Again, these are all spelling the words in feminine gender. Sthita Dihi, Sthita Prajnata, then Jnana Nishtha, Nityatma Gochara, and so on. So now, Sa Sadhyatvena, Laksham Yasyaha Sa Tatokta. So what is now aimed at? Jnana Nishtha is aimed at. Again, Nishtha is total engagement. Nishtha is total engagement. Nishtha is deep interest in doing initially Karma Yoga and then Jnana Yoga. While we study to gain the wisdom, again our interest should be very deep, and that is called Jnana Nishtha, the discipline of wisdom, discipline of learning. Learning involves a lot of effort. In Sanskrit, there is a subhashitam, that's a general saying, a good statement, namely, Sukharti Chet Jajet Vidyam. If you are after pleasure, give up studies. Sukharti Chet Jajet Vidyam. Vidyarthi Chet Jajet Sukham. Give up your pleasure, give up your pursuit of happiness if you don't want, if you want to study. Vidyarthi Chet, if you want to be a student, if you want to be interested in studies, then give up all the comforts, extra comforts. The minimum comforts must be there. The extra comforts should not be there. So here, so that is a subharitam in the first half. Sukharti chet tyajet vidyam, vidyarthi chet tyajet sukham. Vidyarthinah Sukhartinah kuto vidya, vidyarthinah kuto sukham. Again, the same idea is repeated in the second half also. Where is the pleasure for the student, and where is the study for the pleasure seeker? Now here, sa sadhyatvena, sa nishtha, jnana nishtha. Sa means that. So here it is jnana nishtha. So she is the jnana nishtha. Sadhyatvena. So in order to achieve it, in order to achieve jnana nishtha, laksham, the aim must be there, the goal, yasyaha sa. So laksha is there. The word laksha is also in the verse. Then sa tathokta, that has been said so. Then tanmoha shantaye. So already we saw what is the meaning of tanmoha. It can be 2 or 3 shades of meaning. So it is now here, it is Arjuna. So tanmoha. Arjuna, I told you, Arjuna has more mohas, more confusions than this one also. This one, in the sense, he is not ready to fight with the enemies now. So, Ukta Prakarasya Arjunasya. So, Ukta Prakarasya, already it has been said so. What is Ukta Prakarasya? Arjuna has got Sankhya, though he feels that Paramatma is Gocharaha, Nityatma Gochara, Sankhya, then he is also trying to learn how to perform action without attachment. Asanga Karma Yogam Acharati. He is following the action. He wants to follow the action because the advice of Lord Krishna is imminent now. It's very just being said now. So Asanga Karma also he is there. Karma Yogi, Asanga Karma Yogi Arjuna. He is going to start in the second chapter understanding Lord Krishna's advice. He is going to fight. Then so moha, that will, his confusion will be ironed. So what is that moha? Deha Atma Adi Brahma Nivritti Attam. So this particular advice of Lord Krishna from the second chapter to the 18th chapter, totally, the total Bhagavad Gita will be for the purpose of rectifying his hallucination or reeling of the mind, Brahma, Reeling. He is confused now. So he has got a lot of moha. So Brahma Nivrityartham, in order to cure his mental ailment. So Brahma Nivrityartham. So what is that? Deha Atma Adi Brahma. So the problem now with Arjuna is just like all of us. We all tend to believe that the body is equal to the soul, or the body itself is the soul, or the soul itself is the body. Deha Atma. Deha Atma. So we have to differentiate between Deha and Atma. Deha is body, the physical frame, and Atma, the inner soul, the individual soul, the soul which has got what we call life in English, L-I-F-E, life. So a body without life is useless. It will be called the dead body. Now it is the difference between the body and the soul is the body is impermanent, temporary, and the individual soul is always an immortal. It has no death. And so there are so many differences between the individual soul and the body. Now, one example from the Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, you will have a beautiful verse like Vasamsi Jirnani Yatha Vihaya Navani Grinnati Naroparani Tatha Sharirani Vihaya Anyani Samyati Navani Dehi. This is the beautiful verse from second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna advises Arjuna to understand through an illustration, namely, just like a human being discards the old clothes and then wears new dresses, the individual soul in every birth takes on new body and leaves out the old body in the previous birth. The birth can be anything from a small insect like mosquito to great soul like human being. Anyway, so here, so this is the paragraph, this page paragraph. Now we can continue after your some comments if there are. And I welcome, we welcome Geeta by name, a new participant today. And then, as usual, Malini, ma'am.
So Swami, since we're talking about the difference between the Atma and the Paramatma, my question is, does the Paramatma pervade the Atma from within or without? Because I believe Tanacharya Sampradaya and Deshika Sampradaya have slight difference on this subject, that because in the second chapter also, it's going to say that the soul cannot be split, cannot be cut. So whether we know that the Lord pervades the universe from without, from outside, and from inside, which is the meaning of the words Vishnu and Vasudeva. So does the Paramatma reside within the soul, within the Atma, or is he coexisting with the Atma? Is he pervading from outside the Atma? In the Upanishads, it's stated there is a tree, and there are two birds in the tree. One is Atma, one is Paramatma. So this would lead us to believe that the Paramatma is situated in the heart, and the Atma is sitting alongside him. So like two birds in a tree. So, but I want to understand the pervasion of the soul, the Atma. Is the Paramatma within the soul, or is it just next to the soul? How is it pervading?
Can anyone react to this question of Keshavdas Swami?
I think the Paramatma is in the soul, he is a part of the soul. He is a very, very small part of Paramatma. The soul is a very small part of Paramatma. So I feel Paramatma is in the soul.
No, he says, he has given an example. Two birds in a tree. Is it so? Or side by side, both individual soul and the supreme soul reside? Or what about the body? He is asking. He is asking about the body. Does the supreme soul pervade entirely the body also, which is an insentient object?
I don't think so. I think the Paramatma is in the soul. The body is separate and the soul is separate. And soul is very small. That's what I feel. It's separate, totally separate. There's no connection with body and God. And it's just the soul and Paramatma. I feel that's the connection.
Anybody else?
And what I've also read too is, and that's where Keshava Swami was saying there is a difference between the two schools, the two Kalais. I believe that one says, I think that the Varakalai says that Paramatma is within the Jiva, it pervades within the Jiva. And then Tenachari, I think they say that, just like the Upanishads say that they sit side by side. But that also gives me another question with respect to that too, because Keshava Swami was he was translating first the first verse of Purusha Suktam the other day, and he was saying that the Paramatma is described in the first verse as Dashangulam, that he pervades the body at, the size, I believe that, the size of the hand, basically like that. So therefore, I would think that both ideas must make sense, that the jiva is within the Paramatma, and the Paramatma also pervades the jiva. That's the only way I could understand it. But how can you clarify that or give clarity to that?
Any other understanding of by the new entrant or the old participant, Malini, madam? Though my reaction to that, subject to correction, my view is, though there is an example of two birds sitting in the tree, the one is individual soul doing some action, and the other supreme soul, the other bird being the supreme soul. In fact, the individual soul is a female bird, The gender of the bird also is very important. The Supreme Soul is male bird and is watching nonchalantly what the female bird or the individual soul is doing. Now, there are two more points on this. Though it is only for example. What do you mean by two birds is the Supreme Soul as the male bird does not involve in itself in getting attached to the actions of the individual soul. However, the Supreme Soul is interested in the welfare of the individual soul. He wants to save him. He wants to save the individual soul. He wants to protect the individual soul. He has got a lot of love towards the individual soul. He wants to save him from disasters, from accidents, from dangers, and so on. And again, he pervades, as the Supreme Soul, he pervades the insentient objects like bodies, even if it is without life. Even if the individual soul, because we are all human beings and we call our life as individual soul. We call our life as a soul. What you call the spirit. What you call simply saying 5 hairs in the body constitute the spirit. When we breathe in and out, we think we are alive. We are alive. So just breathing is alive, our life. Say, 1 air, prana. Prana, and the word prana in plural, Bahuvachanam, will indicate all the other 4 airs also. All the four types of air. Prana includes apana, vyana, udana, and samana. And the pranaha we say in Sanskrit as single word to denote all the 5 airs in the body. Now, strictly speaking, all these airs, the 5, you can say 5 elements in the body, Pancha Bhutas, then again Pancha Indriyas, Karma and Jnana Indriyas, 10, Manas, then the Buddhi and Ahankara which the individual soul has, all these are pervaded by, including the physical body. Including the physical body. You show your leg, you show your face, all from the head to foot, in every atom he is there. In every molecule he is electron. Therefore, there is no doubt. I mean, the meaning of the story of 2 birds sitting in a tree will be, he will not be tainted. The Supreme Soul will not be tainted by the faults of the individual soul, and nor by the good deeds. It will have some merits. The Supreme Soul will not have increase in merits, what we call auspicious characteristics, because of the individual soul's good actions also. There is no influence, zero influence of the individual soul on the Supreme Soul in what we call in negative aspects. Of course, when individual soul is a bhakta, as you say, conscious of devotion, your devotion consciousness is available in the individual soul. The Supreme Soul is happy to receive the individual soul into his fold. But at the same time, whatever bad actions are committed by the individual soul are not at all connected with the Supreme Soul. In order to explain the detached attitude of the Supreme Soul, we call them 2 birds. 2 birds. Sayuja Sakhaya. Sayuja Sakhaya. They are one together. Their proximity is also close. They are friends with each other. Arjuna and Lord Krishna are friends to each other. Now, for example, one role of Garuda, the the carrier, the vehicle of Lord Tirunarayana is a slave and a friend. Dasaha, Sakha. Dasaha, slave, and Sakha, friend also. How can you be a servant and a friend? A friendly servant. So, Dasaha, Sakha. Plus Asanam, a seat also. So, not only Vahanam, but also Asanam. Not only the carrier, the vehicle, car, plus it is seat also. Of course, car must have seat. Therefore, we have. So, all these roles are rolled into one. There is also the individual soul. Individual soul is a slave. Or let us have friendship with God. See, Ramanujacharya in his Gadyatrayam also says, Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva, tvameva bandhuscha gurus tvameva. Instead of Sakha, he is a teacher, preceptor. So there is a relationship between the teacher and the taught. The individual soul is a disciple, pupil of the teacher, preceptor, namely the Supreme Soul. Again, the two birds, among the two birds, or between the two birds, the Supreme Soul, by watching the individual soul, the bird and the other bird was doing something, what does it do? It teaches detachment. It teaches detachment by remaining quiet, idle, without any influence. So that is
Mama, this
again,
is
again, of course, it has sway over the Supreme Soul. The Supreme Soul has sway over, power over. It can overpower the individual soul. It can stop individual soul from acting, from doing actions. But at the same time, because this individual soul, namely our as a human being, our individual soul has been given the power of discrimination between the good and the bad. We know how to differentiate between the good and the bad, and therefore, whether the individual soul is towards committing sins or doing good actions according to the wishes of the Almighty. And of course, the Almighty says in Bhagavad Gita also, in some other, today I was going through Ragasya Trayasaram of Sri Vedanta Desika. There, in the Supreme Soul teaches us the wisdom through our good and bad experiences. Earlier also I told you, we can learn from or unlearn from others' good and bad experiences. We can learn from good experience of others. We can unlearn from the bad experience of others. We need not go through the mill again and again. Let's see. So here, of course, the Supreme Soul acts as a guide, acts as a mentor. He gives us the facility of studying scriptures, the Shastras, knowledge to go about, knowledge to acquire wisdom. He has given sufficient knowledge to acquire wisdom. But we have to use it. We have to use the, what we call, the faculty. Our faculty, our all Indriyas, the author of the Ragasya Trayasara, namely Sri Swami Vedanta Desika, says, all of us should think of surrendering to God, and that surrender to God is the very goal, and not reaching what we call Vaikuntha, Kainkaryam to be done in Moksha Sthana and so on. Doing service at the headquarters of the Lord and so on. It is simple surrender, total surrender, prapatti or sharanagati will, what we call, otherwise called in our sampradaya as bharanyasa, transferring the burden and putting the burden on the preceptor that all these words are synonymous and all these mean they are the end in themselves, nothing else. So in order to teach that, a person is watching, that is in the form of a bird. But again, the body is also full of the Supreme Spirit. That is my view. So it is not just as you said, Dashangulam, Atyatichat Dashangulam. This is the scriptural sentence. And again, Angushtamatra Purushaha, Taittiriya Upanishad says it is Angushtamatra Purusha. So how do you say what is the height of the Supreme Soul? Is it your thumb or my thumb or somebody else's thumb which is longer or shorter or bigger or smaller, thick or thin, fat or thin and so on. Here, I also always quote Vishnu Sahasranama. Lord Vishnu is called Anuhu. Anuhu is like an atom, in the size of an atom. Brihat, as big as the world, all the 14 worlds put together. Anur Brihat. Krishaha, lean, Lean. Then Sthulaha, obese. Anur Brihat Krisha Sthulo. Gunabhrin Nirguno Maha. So comparing Advaita Sampradaya of Sri Shankaracharya, he is without auspicious qualities, without any quality. So Gunabhrin, full of auspicious characteristics. So Gunabhrin Nirguno Mahan. This is a single line from Vishnu Sahasranama. This is often quoted to understand. How to understand him? Is he black, called Lord Krishna? Krishna is black. Or is he white like Lakshmana, the Adishesha? Is he fair in complexion? Or is he dark in skin color? Is he tall like Trivikrama or dwarf like Vamana? Trivikrama and Vamana, the same avatar. In that way, you go on differentiating between two opposite qualities. That is whereas we have the word describing Lord Almighty as apahata papmatvam. He has the quality called apahata papmatvam. That's what I have been insisting upon, stressing upon the difference between the individual soul and the Supreme Soul is never he is affected by the bad actions of anybody. Here, so apahata papmatvam, and also you can say heya guna rahitatvam. Heya guna rahityam is he is without bad qualities. Heya guna is the character which are to be avoided, which are avoidable or not only avoidable, to be avoided. They must be given up. So such qualities are not in him. No negative quality in him, and therefore, so he is unaffected by the actions that happen in the surroundings. This is what we say. Compare it like the water on the lotus leaf. We are also advised to lead a life like a water on the lotus leaf. The water is on the lotus leaves touching, but at the same time, there is no strict or close contact. It can fall down at any moment. It's just moving here and there on the lotus leaf. The lotus leaf has got what we call a gum-like surface that doesn't allow the water drop to stick to, just like the oil. Viscosity of the oil makes it to stick to the leaf. So that is not there. So here that is a normal soul. Padma patram iva ambaha. Padma patram ambaha. Ambaha water. Padma patra ambaha. It will be on the lotus leaf. So here, of course, the Almighty, the Supreme Soul is without rather what we call negative attachment, but he has got positive attachment towards the individual soul. That is why we say today, as Swami Vedanta Deshika refers it into Ragasya Tresara, being born as a human being itself is great according to Tamil poetic lines of a great lady called Avvaya in Tamil. She says, Aridu Aridu Manadarai Pirattal Aridu. It is very rare to be born as a human being. And again, when you are born as a human being, you are not handicapped also. You are in any way unchallenged. You are not challenged in any part of the body. He said today is not disabled, but differently able. We are not differently able. We have got all our faculties intact. Our ears are hearing properly. Our eyes are looking, have the vision, proper vision. And then all the sense organs are working right. And that itself is a blessing according to Avvayar in Tamil. Kurudai, Umayai, Illamal Pirattalari. It's very rare to be born as a human being, and then instead of being what we call deaf or dumb, we are not born deaf, we are not born dumb, and so on. These are all some qualities which we call them blessings of the Lord. And we cannot claim it as our previous birth good deeds, because we have done meritorious deeds in our previous birth, that we are now born with all luck. That's what we say. But humbly we may say that our ancestors, though with a little legitimate pride, our ancestors have done a lot of meritorious deeds. Therefore, we are born with a silver spoon in the mouth. Here, that means we are comfortable. We are able to study the books on, say, like Bhagavad Gita, on God, and therefore so many advantages, so many conveniences are enjoyed by us because of the blessings of. So that's why we say the Supreme Soul is always interested in blessing the creation.
So once again, I think that I think that the Paramatma is there within the body, and the Paramatma is of a certain size according to the Veda, dasangulam, not more than dasangulam. It can be smaller.
Yeah.
So the Paramatma itself cannot be inside the soul, because the soul is described 1/10,000th size, the tip of the hair, is considered very, very small. The soul is shukshma, is very small, and so the Paramatma cannot be inside. But at the same time, there's another aspect to God. He is Paramatma, but he is also Brahman, and in impersonal sense of Brahman, he's pervading everything. He's pervading the whole body. So since the soul is also there within the body, he's pervading the soul also. In the sense of Brahman is pervading the soul, the Atma. But so these are two aspects, Brahman and Paramatma.
And the concept of saying the individual soul is atom-like or very small, and the Supreme Soul cannot reside within the smallest individual soul. We have a Veda Vakyam, Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan. If your soul, individual soul is an atom, he can be a neutron, electron or proton or neutron. If you are a neutron, you can still be a smaller neutron inside. No problem. Anor aniyan. Anor aniyan. Smaller than the smallest. Bigger than the biggest. Mahato mahiyan. If you consider anything big or great, he is the greatest. So he is not in any way less in size or less in quality. He can be within the individual soul in any size. Sukshma, as you said, the sukshma. The word sukshma meaning invisible to our naked eye. That's all. That's all. Sukshma, a particle of dust is there. We don't recognize it in our food when we take the food. Because when you go outside to take food in the restaurant, we don't know how much dust sets in the food items. That dust, a particle of the dust, we don't recognize by our eyes. Even if your eyes are microscopic in vision. But there is the dust. So the dust, we swallow the dust also. We take the dust also within. And sometimes we get into problems. All types of dust come into. So here what I say is, even for example, take the dust, take the what you call rubbish, the dirty things. So within the dirty things also he is there. The Supreme Soul is there. That's what we say in Srirangam. Alvar, I think it is Parashara Bhattar who wrote Ranganatha Stavam, Rangaraja Stavam, Ranganatha Stotram he has written. Not only Rangaraja Stavam but Ranganatha Stotram. There he wants to be a small dog in the Srirangam town. A dog in the Srirangam town. That is one kind of. Then a worm in the gutter, a worm in the garbage of Srirangam. It's called Naichyanusandhanam. It's what we call lowering oneself to the lowest status so that we feel very humble before the Lord. But that is there. Worm in the garbage, worm in the gutter. Sakadayil puluvaga, sakadayila pulu. The gutter itself is very dirty. You can say septic tank. The septic tank. A worm in the septic tank. That will be very nauseating. Even while saying it will be what we call create bibhatsa rasaha in Sanskrit. We call it disgusting sentiment. The sentiment itself is disgusting. But the problem, there's no problem with the Supreme Soul because when the Supreme Soul resides there, it is not attached to the dirtiness of these things. So it can be a little more smaller.
Okay.
Without, of course, in general to all the sampradayas and in particular to Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, whether it is Vadagalai or Tennacharya, these concepts are same. Though you may say in Tennacharya Sampradaya that he is the Supreme Soul is side by side with the individual soul, closer to the individual soul in the heart, and the body is not pervaded by the Supreme Soul. Do they say the body is not pervaded by the Supreme Soul?
No. They're not saying the body isn't pervaded. They're saying that the discussion is about the Atma itself, about the soul itself, whether the soul is pervaded inside or outside.
Oh.
Is he just next to, the Atma is just next to the Paramatma, or is the Paramatma somehow pervading the soul But I think it's only difference in terminology, because the Lord has these different aspects. He has the aspect of Paramatma. He has the aspect of Brahman, you know, and he has the aspect of Ishvara or Bhagavan as separate. Krishna and Arjuna are standing next to each other. Krishna is also within the heart of Arjuna as Paramatma. And Krishna is also pervading the whole universe, including the body and the soul of Arjuna. So these, in Bhagavatam, there's a statement that there are three aspects: Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti. So these are just different aspects, and I think that the Tirunarayana Sampradaya, they're fixating more on the aspect of Paramatma, and others may be saying, but the soul itself is Brahman, because the Advaitins say that the Atma is also Brahman, and we understand that the Atma is qualitatively Brahman, and that because the Atma is something, is a thing, it must be pervaded by Sriman Narayana. It has to be pervaded by Sriman Narayana. He pervades everything. So he has to also pervade the Atman. But at the same time, he's standing next to the Atman. So these are just two aspects, two different aspects of him.
That's what Purusha Suttam says. Antar Bhagischa Tat Sarvam Yapya Narayana Sthitaha.
Right. So we get
outside and inside.
So we
At
get
the same time, take the example of Periyalvar, Vishnu Chittaha. The word Vishnu Chittaha means that he is in the heart of Vishnu, rather than Vishnu is in his heart. Vishnu Chittaha can mean both. So also the individual soul. So also you and I. As you said, he can be inside and outside. He can stand outside. He can sit inside.
Yeah, right. So by just taking the first verse of Purusha Sukta and talking about the Sangulam, about the Paramatma being a certain height, we get a wrong impression if we don't take the whole context of Purusha Suktam, where it says Antar Bahischa, then we don't get the full picture. So it's just a matter of emphasis. I think Tirunarayana Sampradayam, they're emphasizing the separateness, and Deshika Sampradaya is emphasizing the oneness, because in Deshika Vedanta Deshika was living in Kanchipuram before, very close to the Advaitis, because in Kanchipuram you have Vishnu Kanchi and Shiva Kanchi. So he was always fighting against the Advaitis, and the Advaitis emphasized the oneness of the Atma and Paramatma. So he had to speak in these terms in order to defeat them. But in Sri Rangam, in English we say preaching to the choir. Everybody in Sri Rangam is a Vaishnava. So there's no emphasis on oneness. There's an emphasis only on difference between Atma and Paramatma. So I think it's just like this is just a difference in emphasis of the two kalais. And it's not, neither of them are wrong, but just emphasizing different aspects of the Supreme Lord. He has both aspects, as you say, in context, in the whole context, Antar Bahischa.
Right.
Even this Narasimha, Bahir Nasimha, Hridaye Nasimha. We pray to, we just had Narasimha Chaturdasi. Narasimha is outside, he's also inside. So the Supreme Lord is outside and inside. He's outside and inside the body. He's also outside and inside the soul, the Atma.
Right. Any comments on?
No. I just agreed with that's what I was thinking from the beginning anyway. So Keshava Swami also very nicely summarized it, that he's inside and outside, and that's the best way to look at it, because there's nothing that he can't do anyway. So, but no other comment really. No, thank you.
Yeah, just the only reason I asked the question was I wanted to highlight that there's an emphasis by one side, by one group, and another emphasis by the other group. But actually, if we look at it in in the full context, we see that both have their points and both are correct, and that Srimad Narayana encompasses both aspects and not just one aspect. But somehow it's become a matter of contention that you believe this, I believe that, but actually everybody believes everything. They all believe that both aspects are there. They just emphasize one over the other.
The purpose of the clash of the ideas within many sampradayas is to make us discuss, think, and meditate on God than fighting with each other. That your sampradaya is different from this. They have written a book called Panchama Paksha Shata Dushani, 100 objections on why Mahalakshmi cannot have the right to grant the emancipation. All these discussions, all the 100 points are to instigate the what you call the sentiments of others, so that we will be engaged throughout in thinking of Lord Almighty's Shastra than engaging in the ordinary worldly activities of this mortal world.
Who wrote that book? Who wrote that book about Mahalakshmi?
Yeah, Panchama Paksha Shata Dushani.
Yeah, who wrote it? Who wrote it?
The advocate Krishnamacharya, who was a student of our college, he was living in Puttur, Agrahar. You know him. There are so many publications.
Puttur Swami.
Puttur Swami.
I know. He wrote that.
Published. Yeah. He has also published the 18 differences between the Tengnacharya Sampradaya and Vadagalai Sampradaya, Deshika Sampradaya. I was arguing with him. He was accusing me of not clearly understanding both concepts. I said, as a young man, I know what is there in both Sampradayas, but you believe in yours and I believe in mine. Not that because we are born in that particular family, where to say that we belong to that Sampradaya. There were some people like A.V. Gopalacharya, an advocate in Tiruchirappalli, who was more an Advaiti, though born as an Vishishtadvaita. He was supporting the Advaita concepts of Adi Shankaracharya. And therefore, he is called an Advaiti, an Advaiti in Vishishtadvaita. So, according to our deep understanding and what we call the affinity towards our own sampradaya, sometimes we are fanatic, but that fanaticism should not end in physical fight. That's it.
So I think also this Agnihotri Tatachar, he had some different opinion than some other people.
Yeah.
And even there may have been some difference of opinion by this P.B. Anangacharya of Kanchipuram about some things. So different people, different acharyas in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, they're having slightly different opinions, and sometimes they come into clash with others. I think even at the time of Vedanta Deshika and some people didn't appreciate some things that Vedanta Deshika was saying or doing. And so it's only natural, but these are all very small details, differences. In the overall structure of the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya is unity about Vishishtadvaita Vedanta, and there's only some ways of looking at things that they get different emphasis on one point and another point, And really, we shouldn't fight about those things. We should just try to appreciate that other people are thinking deeply about the subject, and they have a slightly different opinion, but ultimately, it's very difficult for us to make a decision on which is exactly correct and which is not correct, or if it's only an emphasis. I think it's not worth fighting about many of these things.
Again, I understand if all of us closely observe the personal life of the acharyas like Prativati Bhayankaram Annangaracharya of Kanchipuram, we understand personally he has nothing against Swami Vedanta Deshika. In fact, he has praised him to the sky in his works like Upadesha Ratnamala and so on. And he has written what we call Panniru Tingal Anubhavam, the 12 months experience of a year with all the Acharya's birthday celebrated in his work. And while for the sake of his understanding of his own ideology, in an assembly, he argues against the concepts, others' concepts. But secretly and or rather personally accepting all the concepts of the other sampradaya in total, in full. There was one, you have heard about 101-year-old or 100-year life of 67th Shankaracharya called Mahaperiyavar in Kanchipuram. He in a private discussion said Vishishtadvaitam is the right ideology and not Advaitam, because I am a recluse, a monk in this order. I am performing Chandramaulishwara Puja, but really speaking, the Antaryami being Lord Sriman Narayana, your Vishishtadvaita is the practical and right concept. He has secretly accepted it to many people, many scholars like Dr. N.S. Ramanujathatacharya Swami, who had the Chevalier Award in India, the second person to have Chevalier Award, a first Sanskrit scholar to get the Chevalier Award. He was an expert in 4 branches of knowledge in Sanskrit Shastra. So he had a personal discussion with that, and then Vishishtadvaitam is practical philosophy. Advaitam is impractical philosophy. But still, Advaitins say that is the final goal, and Vishishtadvaita is in a lower rung of the ladder. Lower rung of the ladder. You go further up and then achieve that Brahman is Nirgunam. Brahma is Nirguna Brahma. That's what they say. But the limitations of the human mind cannot hope to see how Brahma is the what they call the bereft of auspicious characteristics. It's not possible to imagine.
Right. So if Vishishtadvaita is one rung, and even if Advaita is a higher rung, if Advaita is impractical, we can come only to the practical rung. So let everybody come first of all to the practical rung, and then if they want to go further to the impractical, that's up to them.
Yeah,
So actually, there's you said that there's only this Mahaperiyavar Swami of Kanchipuram. Yeah, he admitted this to this Dr. Ramanujan, Dr. N.S. Ramanujan, but not to everybody else. Openly he won't say.
Yeah.
Huh?
Openly he did not say that.
Hmm.
Normally, the Matha, Kanchipuram Matham will always be chanting the name Hara Hara Shankara, Shiva Shiva Shankara. And Hara Hara, the word Hara also, of course, is the name of Lord Vishnu. Shankara also, Shankara is one who does good. So Sham Karoti iti Shankara. So Shambhu. Here the word Shambhu occurs in Vishnu Sahasranama, in Aditya Hriday, and so on and so forth. Every name is attached to Lord Vishnu.
Yeah,
Ultimately.
of course, all these names can be interpreted to be Lord names of Sriman Narayana, but the other matas, the other sects, they will say all the names can be interpreted to be Shiva. All the names can be interpreted to be anyone. So it's difficult to put that point forward that all the names of Vishnu Sahasranama, like Sarva Sarva Shiva Stanu, Shiva is. Okay.
Swami, I wanted to
I'm
ask.
sorry, I think I was also late today by 5 to 10 minutes again. So
No problem.
I was preparing a quiz on one of the stotras of Sri Vedanta Deshika, namely Garuda Dandakam. Tomorrow, Tuesday, for you it is Monday. Monday evening, 7 o'clock for you. The Bay Area is 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Mine is 7:30.
We're hoping that
I'm giving the meaning word by word in Tamil for Kama Sikattakam on Lord Lakshmi Narasimha of Kanchipuram, a different temple called Tiruvelukkai. And Shanta Varadarajan Madam also is attending tomorrow, today evening for you, just for a half an hour. And they recite the Kama Sikattakam and understand the meaning one by one. Now we are starting the meaning only tomorrow. Then so far there was a recitation, and we have also uploaded the video of Garuda Dandakam with word by word meaning in Tamil in the form of a video. We have started with Garuda Dandakam. Our immediate purpose is to rid ourselves of the virus. So we are trying to take up the particular stotras where we aim at curing our diseases, common disease of the world. The epidemic now is pandemic.
So we're hoping very much that you don't make a quiz for us. Now you're making quizzes for other people.
Definitely. No, we are now attempting at a very small stotra where there are only 135, 36 to syllables. You can say 136 syllables. So I'm taking a very small stotra and trying my hand. Not because I have been training myself for the past many years, many decades over, framing a multiple choice question perfectly. We had a seminar on preparing multiple choice question by Dr. Harper and Mrs. Harper. I think an American couple. Therefore, we had very interesting discussions on how to prepare a multiple choice question. For example, you cannot ask relationship in the multiple choice question. So and so's spouse, so and so's husband, so and so's wife is. You cannot give 4 choices. And it's very. If they answer it differently, that will be a disaster. Therefore, so how to prepare a multiple choice question? There are 2 aspects, and I'm not wasting your time. So an intelligent student should be able to pick up the right answer. a dull student should get confused. That is the purpose of the objective type questions. The what we call the below average student should not be able to answer the question and should get confused. That is our aim is to confuse him, confuse Arjuna, and then the other one, an very high IQ student will have to pick up the answer immediately without. So what we call there are so many aims of this objective. Application will be the best option for multiple choice question. Application oriented multiple choice question, because it is not knowledge oriented, it is not what you call memory oriented, it is not simply thought oriented. It should be application oriented, so that the questions will be. So I have prepared so far 50 questions.
So let me just say that the multiple choice question system is not to figure out whether one has a good memory, but whether one has a good discrimination, whether he can discriminate which is the best answer and which is the worst answer, and to pick the best choice. So I think Bhagavad Gita itself is a multiple choice question. Krishna is giving karma yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, and finally he's giving a small hint about property, and he wants Arjuna to pick the right answer, and Arjuna finally picks the right answer. But he's giving all these other answers, the multiple choice is given in Bhagavad Gita. So it is definitely Krishna wants him to get discrimination and choose the right one. And other people who are less intelligent, in other sects, they pick only karma yoga, jnana yoga, or even bhakti yoga as their best option. But as you said, that shows that they have less discrimination to see what is actually the best choice in Bhagavad Gita, which is property.
As you said, not only the right answer, the best answer also. And if you and other participants are interested, we will now create a quiz on Gitartha Sangraha also. No problem.
Oh my God.
As long as it is multiple choice, I don't mind, because I find multiple choice to be much easier. You know, in America, what they do is they say, if you get multiple choice, you just pick B. Always pick B. You will you'll get minimum 25% marks.
I've heard at least you should always pick C, but I guess it's the same 25% marks you'll get.
Right. Yeah.
But Swami, I wanted to ask you a question about the tattva of Garuda. Sorry, not Garuda, Ananta Shesha. What I wanted to ask you is that, well, coming from a Gauriya background, Ananta Shesha is considered like the first expansion of the Lord, like that. But as I understand from Sri Vaishnavism, that he is considered a Nitya Suri, correct?
Right.
Ananta Shesha. Therefore, he is in the Jiva category, Nitya Suri. But he appears as Lord Balaram with Lord Krishna, correct?
Balaram and Lakshmana.
And as Lakshmana also. But when we do Aradhanam, so we worship Balaramaya Namaha and then Shri Krishnaya Namaha, like that. But if he's a Nitya Suri, then how is he classed as an avatar, like on the level of Bhagavan? In Gauriya Vaishnavism, he's considered like God's first expansion, and he is considered as Sevak Bhagavan. He is the Bhagavan. God has his first expansion to serve himself. So he's considered as good as God. He's like God directly is avatar. But I'm trying to understand, as a Nitya Suri, he's classed as Jiva. So why it is that we don't in Aradhanam also worship Lakshman? And then why it is that, you know, Balaram as an expansion or an avatar of Ananta Shesha, why is he considered as on the level as Srimanarayana in the Aradhanam?
Now, your question is pertinent that Lakshmana is not considered as one of the 10 incarnations, whereas Balarama is. There are two aspects. Number one, the birth of Lakshmana, Bharata, and Shatrughna in Ramavatara, or the Bhagavad Amsha's incarnations. Bharata is from the conch, Shatrughna is from the disc, the Sudarshana Chakram, and Lakshmana is Adishesha. Now, coming to your point, namely calling Adishesha Nityasuri, there is no doubt. But don't equate it with Jiva. It is that the individual soul, like you and I, are completely different from the Nityasuri. Though, by reaching Vaikuntha, our souls may become Nityasuri. We don't call them, we don't call them Nityasuri. We call them just Mukta, released soul. M-U-K-T. Therefore, we cannot be equated with Nityasuri. Nor individual soul is not the equivalent of the word Nityasuri, or you can call Adishesha a Jiva. No. The status of Nityasuri is different. Namely, there are only three. Adishesha, Garuda, and Vishwasena are the only three Nityasuris in that headquarters. Nobody else. Even if you don't call Mahalakshmi as the Nityasuri, because she is the wife of Lord Srimanarayana, nor even say Bhuma Devi, the goddess of earth, who is there. So these are all. Now coming to the incarnation, Lakshmana being the younger brother of Rama, he was assured in the Rama's incarnation itself that in future, because you served me, I will serve you, and I will make you my elder brother. So elder brother, according to the rule, any elderly person, like you call him then Guru. Don't say call the teacher. Guru means elder. Guru means also father. So the elderly people should be respected. Not that the younger people should not be respected or should be disrespected. You understand that in Ramavatara, Shatrughna has the highest respect. Should have the highest respect. We are not giving respect to Shatrughna. It is our fault. Shatrughna is what we call Sevaka to Bhagavata. Bhagavata Paratantriyam is the quality of Shatrughna. Bhagavata Paratantriyam. Dependent on the devotee of God. The devotee of God is Bharata. Bharata is the second next brother to Rama. Elder to other two, Lakshmana and Shatrughna. Lakshmana and Shatrughna are the twins. And Lakshmana is only third in this brother order. We have only in Sanskrit that kind of question. Suppose Govindacharya Swami is his third brother among the brothers. Then how can you ask in English or Tamil? It's not possible. English or Tamil cannot give you. What is how will you ask the question? What is your position in your brother siblings? No. We have sisters and brothers together. There are 5 people. And the first one we can easily say Jyeshtaha. And the last one we can say Kanishtaha. And what about the other 3 or 4? Or say take 10 people, 10 siblings. Then you have to ask only in Sanskrit. Katamaha tvam. Katamaha tvam. Then he will answer that I am the 5th brother in succession in the whole lot, but the third son and the 5th brother, because I have sisters also in between. So you cannot. Why? So what I say is Balarama is considered an incarnation, and sometimes Balarama is left out and Buddha is introduced. Buddha is only a realized soul. Buddha doesn't mean an incarnation of what we call the Buddhism, the founder of Buddhism. But Buddha is a realized soul. That is how we say. Because Krishna as the supreme head, the next incarnation is Buddha. Then the last incarnation among the 10 is Kalki. That marks the end of the Kalpa or the Kali Yuga. That is our concept. Okay. So Balarama, being the elder brother, he is given the respect of the status of incarnation. But again, there is always a different opinion on whether Balarama is the real incarnation. In fact, as you also Gaudiya Sampradaya, you said that all of us have got Antaryami and Lord Sriman Narayana. That means so Rama was in Lakshmana, Krishna was in Balarama, and therefore each one of us can be God according to Advaita Sampradaya also. Each of us is in incarnation. But Balarama, because he served very diligently, deeply in Rama's incarnation as Lakshmana, then he had to be given the respect in Krishna's incarnation. That is the concept. So Balarama, if you say, Balarama is equated to Lord Sriman Narayana, this is what we do today. Swami Vedanta Deshika is worshipped as a god in the temple. Valmiki, the author of the Ramayana, the first poetry in Sanskrit, is worshipped as a god. Vyasa, of course, an incarnation of Lord Krishna or Lord Sriman Narayana, though he is only an author of some books, of course, good books. 17 Puranas plus Bhagavatam plus Mahabharatam, and even so many other books. So, Vyasa is considered Bhagavan. We call them Bhagavan Valmiki, Bhagavan. So again here Bhagavan Adi Shankara, Bhagavan Ramanujacharya. So we all worship them as gods. They are not incarnation but gods. So that's the difference between the different names. So Ramanujacharya is considered as God by our Vaishnava Sampradaya. In fact, Yamunacharya of Gitartha Sangraha, Natha Muni, we don't know the books of Natha Muni at all. So there are two greatnesses of Natha Muni. One is he has recited 12 lakhs times Kanninun Siruttambu and got back the 4,000 Tamil Divya Prabandhas back to revival. He revived to existence. And that is the second one is he has written a book called Yoga Ragasyam that is lost to us. But still we consider him as the leader of the Vaishnava Sampradaya. The first leader is Natha Pravrittam, you say. Natha Munik Pravrittam. The Vaishnava Sampradaya was started by Lakshmi Natha Samarambham, Natha Yamuna Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Paramparam. This is what we say. Starting with Lord Sriman Narayana. The next man in succession is Natha Muni. We all worship all these acharyas as gods. We build a temple, we put them in the sanctum sanctorum, offer Tiruvaras. Why? That God's status is given to them. Such great people they are.
So basically, Balaram is honored like that because he has come as Krishna's elder brother and he is to be honored like that. But then you said that the only Nitya is Ananta, Garuda, and Vishwaksena. Sudarshana also, right? Sudarshana.
Yeah, that's the weapons. The weapons.
Yeah, they all. But and we cannot consider them Jiva category. But isn't Jiva categorized as Nitya, Mukta, and Baddha? Yeah. So
they are called Nityas. Only the 5 weapons and 3 Nityasuri. The other, of course, the embellishments like the alankaras like Kaustuba, the Vaijayanti Mala, any ornament like Tulasi Mala, basil garland, all these are all Nityasuri. Whereas we are all released souls as we are residents of Vaikuntha, Muktas, and Baddhas are here.
Okay, so they have a higher tattva than the ordinary jivas. That's all we have to take it as. Obviously,
Yeah.
nitya, meaning they've never been bound, so they must have a higher tattva.
Right.
But you're saying not to class them as jiva,
Right.
just that only as, you know. Okay, thank you.
Very, very nice questions.
Again, I think it's a difference between emphasis, because when we speak about the Jivatman, we give a classification of 3. And Nityas or Nityasuris are one of the classification of 3 types of jivas. So in one sense, when we categorize jivas, we say there are 3 and one of them is Nityasuris. But as you say, Nityasuris never being bound in this world. They're a different class of beings. Even Madhvacharya, he classifies Mahalakshmi as different class, because he says that she is dukkha asprishya. She has never suffered sorrow, and he says all others have suffered sorrow. So she is dukkha asprishya. This is the statement of Madhvacharya in his book about tattvas. Tattva Sankhya. Tattva Sankhya is his book, and he gives that. But in Madhva philosophy, they say everyone else is dukkha sprishya, and only Mahalakshmi is dukkha asprishya. But he first of all classifies 2. He says that there is paratantra and swatantra. So the Lord is swatantra, everyone else is paratantra. So the Lord is independent, everyone else is dependent. Amongst dependents, Mahalakshmi is one. She's a dependent, but she is dukkha asprishya. She's in a different category than other beings, because she's never touched by sorrow. That's what he says.
But when we say Swami,
Govindacharya Swami should have known that in Madhya Sampradaya, Vayu Bhagavan, Bhima, and Hanuman are considered as gods. Of course, along with Hayagriva, of course, is an incarnation of Sriman Narayana. But anybody connected with the air, Vayu Bhagavan, because Bhima is son of Vayu, and Hanuman is son of Vayu again, Anjaneya, Vayuputra, and therefore all the 3 are worshipped as gods by them, by the Madhya Sampradaya people.
basically we elevate our acharya to the level of God. That is the basic Vaishnava tenet. You know, you worship the acharya as good as God. And I think that's the same for all Vaishnava sampradayas, even Gaudiya sampradaya, you know, that the guru is as good as God. By worshiping the guru, then God is pleased. And it's more important to please the guru than to even try to please God, like that.
So, but in Madhya Sampradaya, they keep the hierarchy, the levels, who is above whom. They say Bhima is lower than Vayu, Vayu is lower than Indra, Indra is lower than Lord Sriman Narayana, and so on. So,
even Gaudiyas do that also. They have this hierarchy also.
But in Madhva Sampradaya, they have a lot of Taratamya. They call it Taratamya. So they have Taratamya. Even in Moksha, they have Taratamya. Even in Moksha, they say there's different levels of Ananda. They call it Ananda Taratamya. So they have so many levels. They won't admit equality on any level, because to admit equality on any level, they think it means Advaita. So they don't accept equality on any level. So there's a difference between Vaishnava Sampradaya, Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, and Madhva Sampradaya, is that we accept equality on certain levels. Like we were speaking about in Moksha, that the Ananda of the Mukta, the Ananda of the Nityasuri, is the same as the Ananda of Ishvara, of God. The knowledge, the chit, is also all expansive, because there is no jnana brahmsa, there's no covering to the knowledge of the living being in moksha. But in Madhva Sampradaya, they won't admit equality on any level, whereas Shankara admits equality on every level. So Vishishta Dvaita is in between. We accept some equality, but we also accept that there is some, we give emphasis to equality when it is there, but we don't emphasize full equality in every aspect.
Right.
Like this dukkha sprishya, Swami, that if they say that Mahalakshmi never experienced sorrow, but isn't it that in her form as Sita, she has experienced sorrow?
Yeah, there's no sorrow experience.
Was that, sorry?
No, there's no experience of sorrow with regard to Mahalakshmi.
Okay, because then I was saying, but when she appeared in the form of Sita Devi, isn't it that she then experienced sorrow in that form? And she is Mahalakshmi. Sita is directly Mahalakshmi.
Or Bhudevi.
There comes the realization. In Uttarakanda, you understand, he is not Sita after going to the abode of Ravana, Sri Lanka. In Ashokavana, she is a form of, another form of Vedavati, who cursed Ravana.
Right, I heard that recently from someone else. I didn't know that Sri Vaishnavas believed in that. But yes, I heard someone speaking about
all of us have to study Uttarakanda, and you find that the point where from Ravana abducts her, Sita is transformed into Vedavati. And then when she comes back from the fire, Vedavati jumps into the fire, Mahalakshmi comes out of it as Sita.
Okay, because
Comes out of the fire as Sita.
Right, but even what Govindachari is saying about sorrow, even we look in the Ramayana, we see that Rama seems to have some sorrow. He seems to have some sorrow as a normal human being. His husband, the husband of a wife who has been abducted, he shows some sorrow. He looks like he's showing sorrow, but actually Sriman Narayana can never show sorrow. So there's no sorrow doesn't touch him. He's not touched by these type of things. But it's just a leela.
That is why we don't say Rama as a real character. We say Lord Sriman Narayana acted as Rama. Rama Vesham Dhatama. He was just an ordinary human being as he wanted to be in the incarnate. So he had the same, what we call, the life's happiness and sorrow mixed in a human life. That's why he was mad at asking Godavari River, the trees, about on the whereabouts of Sita. And Lakshmana there advises him. So the younger brother advises him not to feel heavily sorrow.
Right.
So there are all some what we call play. It's called sport. It's called the game. It's all in the game. And I'm also very much surprised to see either Valmiki or Kamban to describe Sita's suffering, whereas Sita was getting nectar, amritam from heaven direct. We can't say she was hungry throughout. She fasted throughout 9 months in the life in her life in Ashokavana. Indra sent his charioteer Matali and the car to Rama. Till then, Hanuman was the carrier vehicle for Rama. They also that Ramayana Yuddha was a Dharma Yuddha, righteous war. Of course, not so righteous as Mahabharata, because Indrajit played willfully, what you call disobeying the rules of Yuddha, Yuddha Dharma. Whereas Rama had the divine chariot. How could he have divine chariot sent by Indra and with the driver also, the car with the driver? So these are all some what you call supernatural powers of the incarnation. In certain incidents, like allowing, sending Shabari, the old lady, to the world of Acharya. She wanted to go to the teacher's world, Guru Loka, not Brahma Loka or Vaikuntha or any other loka. She wanted to go and serve in heaven also. Her preceptor, Matanga Magari. Then, while performing, recently we in Ragasya, Srimad Ragasya Tresar of the Vedanta Devika, there is a lot of discussion why Rama performed the last rites to Jatayu, the bird, with what we call in the method of Brahma Medha Samskara. Brahma Medha Samskara. An ordinary bird, how can he be equated to a human being? And again, among the human beings, the highest birth as a twice born, and therefore, how could Brahma Medha Samskara be done to a bird like Jatayu? Number one. Number two, in Mahabharata, Vidura, being the son of a lady servant, belonging to the lower caste. So Vidura's last rites were performed by Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira is a Kshatriya, and Kshatriya cannot do it for a lower class like Vidura. But what happened to Vidura is, Vidura is a character with what we call yoga powers. Vidura called upon Yudhishthira, invited Yudhishthira to meet him. Then when Yudhishthira prostrated before him, the vision of Vidura was so strong that Vidura's individual soul went and merged into Yudhishthira's soul. That's what Mahabharata says. And therefore, according to Swami Vedanta Desika. So what happened was, Vidura fell down dead after meeting Yudhishthira. So immediately, Yudhishthira was asked to perform. Though Vidura had sons, though Vidura married another Shudra lady, according to his clan, Brahma Medha Samskara was performed by Yudhishthira to Vidura. How is he qualified? The discussion is there on Srimad Ragasya Tresara, and therefore, so what I mean to say is, there are some characters which are highly divine in nature, almost equated to God. We also say Rama was unlucky, unfortunate that he could not perform the rites of his own father, Dasharatha, though he chose Dasharatha as his father in the incarnation. Pitaram Rochayamasa Dasharatham Ripam. Of all the kings of the world, he chose Dasharatha as his father. In Krishna Avatara, he chose Vasudeva as his father, and then his foster father was Nandagopa. These are all some choices based upon the merits of the previous birth of their previous birth. And therefore, here we don't have, I think, history of Yashoda, because Yashoda was so lucky, more lucky than Devaki, the real mother. But I don't think there is a history of Yashoda. But there is history of both Vasudeva and Devaki, because they prayed for the birth of Almighty as their son. In three births, consecutively in three births, they prayed with a penance, with a tapas, and therefore Lord Krishna was born to them, or incarnated through them. Now, here, what I mean is that respect is given to people as Bhagavan.
And again, I think also in the case of Periyanambi, the guru of Ramanujacharya, he also performed the last rites or the funeral for one of his disciples who was a Sudra, and he was criticized for doing that also. And then actually the Lord's Ratotsavam, the Lord's Rata, stopped in front of his house because of this, and until people admitted that it was okay, that it was correct that Periyanambi did this.
The chariot did not move.
The chariot did not move until people admitted that it was okay that he did this for his disciple. So very nice.
Acceptance.
They had to accept it, yes. So should we?
So let us meet tomorrow. And I assure again Govindacharya Swami that I will send you the translation into English of the word that I gave you from the mail, and also there are two more additions.
Did you like the Charama Shlokas that they say Charama Shlokas?
Yeah, I went through all the Charama Shlokas, right? And this is what I say. This is what I say. When you create a Charama Shloka to every god, do we accept it? Do we accept it? Now, Charama Shloka, we call it the ancient Charama Shloka, where slokas were for three incarnations. Later on, now, we also told you, we also discussed that we have got so many Sahasranamas today, Sahasranama Stotras today, so many Gayatris today, and so many Charma Shlokas today, as is now told me. It's very nice to see Charma Shlokas. And what do you mean by this Charma Shloka? Charma Shloka is the ultimate conclusion by which you believe that particular person as God. That's all. You surrender to him, and you don't have any other refuge. So that is what we call Charama Shloka. Charama Shloka, the assurance given by the particular God or godly person is enough, sufficient to give us whatever we want. And that is the purpose of Charama Shloka. Charama, of course, the meaning final, and it can be after normally the death of an individual soul, in the sense the death of the body. We compose Charama Shlokas. And that's so for every human being who passes away, we have Charama Shloka today. So that doesn't mean that that is a Charama Shloka for. I mean, that Charama Shloka is particular to that particular family, and fortunately, I could compose for my parents. Yashoda Swami was the witness for my father. My mother also, for my mother also, I composed Charama Shloka. These two Charama Shlokas are to be recited by my family members. It is not for everyone. It's not for everyone. But Charma Shloka very ordinarily will have details like the year, the what you call ayanam, the 6-month period, then the month, the star, the tithi, the date, and you say the name of the acharya there, and then you say that he reached the divine feet of the preceptor. He reached the divine feet of the preceptor. Or that is the last one. That is the last Charma Shloka. The previous Charma Shloka, we say that because of the grace of the preceptor, he reached the divine feet of the Lord. That's all it says. No many details about the individual's achievement or greatness and so on. That is not mentioned there. But still, that is the prayer to be recited every day by the particular family. And today it's a very big joke that they write in prose form and put some full stops here and there and call it poetry. And then they don't know how to write what they call traditional poetry, and therefore and again, if you are so close to a particular person, you because of your love and affection for that particular soul, you go on writing 3, 4, 5, 6 Charma Shlokas. Very recently, we had 5 Charma Shlokas by a great scholar to a departed soul. So why I say this? So you can have a number of Charma Shlokas. So with regard to the God's Charma Shlokas, which all of us respect, we can recite them at any time when we believe them that they will give us what we want. Of course, without kamya laksham, without desire as a goal, you can also recite the Charma Shloka. I am happy that I saw your mail with the Charma Shloka. So anybody who can compose Charma Shloka can do that. Sakradeva prapannaya tavasmiti chayachate abhayam sarvabhutebhyo dadamyetat datam mama ramas sarvadharman parityaja. But there are so many deep meanings and philosophical import that there are so many commentaries on such Charma Shlokas. Whereas the other Charma Shlokas, I am afraid there are no many commentaries or deep meanings, except for the desire with which we compose Charma Shlokas.
कवितार्किकसिंहाय कल्याणगुणशालिने श्रीमते वेङ्कटेशाय वेदान्तगुरवे नमः।